Some people will get rid of coffee, then they'll add coffee back in, and maybe they like the experience of drinking coffee and going to coffee houses and things like that. I had 1 cup of black coffee. Within 20 minutes, I could feel my hamstrings and backs stiffening up and tightening. Oh, okay, what's happening? Happening? And I was sore for 2 days after that. So for me, coffee's not worth it. The symptoms of nerve compression, which is probably what he's talking about there.
Yep.
He's got a couple of disc bulges. The problem with those disc bulges is that they can squish on your nerves that are sort of releasing out from your spine, and they can cause pain shooting down your legs. And that can be very painful, very debilitating. And the surgery for that is to go down there and sort of pick off some of that. It's called a microdiscectomy, or depending on what's going on, but you just take a bit of that disc material away and you free up that nerve. Some people will, get rid of coffee, then they'll add coffee back in, and maybe they like the experience of drinking coffee and going to coffee houses and things like that.
Yeah, I draw
more than the detriments.
Yeah.
But, for me, I was never a big coffee guy anyway.
Okay.
But, it didn't really make me feel good at all ever. I get like 1 cup in 20 and I'd be bouncing off the walls. Like, oh my God, this is what people feel like when they drink coffee. No wonder, you know, and most of the time I didn't actually feel as good. I got brain fog and just all sorts of other sorts of, just didn't feel great. And the opposite of what coffee is supposed to do to you. And, so I would drink coffee sometimes, and I got used to it sort of, in my intern year, because it was just, I needed something to survive. Like I wasn't doing carnivore then. And so, I would have some sometimes. And then when I went back on carnivore, when I was, in my 30s, I had all the stuff out of my system for a few weeks. I was doing like bigger workouts. I couldn't get sore. It was crazy. I couldn't work hard enough to wear myself out.
Yeah.
I was going to failure every single set. I ended up doing 32 sets of squats. People don't believe that happened. And try it. See what happens. And, if you're doing it on a carnivore diet and your body's working, you can just, as long as you give yourself enough rest. Now I can wear myself out by basically, I give myself like no rest. I do like what Serge Nubret and Vince Garanda did, which I basically give 30 seconds rest between upper body sets and 60 seconds rest between lower body sets. And I just go until I'm worn out. You get sort of, 8, 12 sets or whatever. And that's really the only way I can sort of wear myself out. But if I rest again and then come back, I can keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so, and I don't get sore. At all.
I did notice the sustained level of energies that I had. No ups, but no downs. Just a sustained level of feeling good.
Yeah.
And then the lack of inflammation, the sore joints, the sore back, they all disappeared as well. So I can see that.
Yeah. And no post-workout, the DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness. I didn't get any of that. And I was just like, and that's why I did that crazy workout, because I was like, am I just not pushing myself hard enough? Like, what's going on? But sure enough, I couldn't get sore. And I sort of like, at that point, I'm like, right, it's time to go play some rugby. I'm going to go smash someone. Went back out and felt great. Was back out training. I had been in Bangladesh doing humanitarian work for months. I was completely out of shape, hadn't played a full season in 3 years. And I just went back and was playing with my professional team in Seattle. They just turned professional, Seattle Seawolves and Saracens. That's the former name. And so I was feeling great. 2 days after that, I'm just like, my legs are not sore. I've just done crazy amounts of workouts and my legs are not sore. Met a friend for coffee, and I had 1 cup of black coffee, and within 20 minutes, I could feel my hamstrings and backs stiffening up and tightening. Oh, okay, what's happening? What's happening? And I was sore for 2 days after that. So for me, coffee's not worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess that's anecdotal, but it's
me.
Yeah.
But it's my experience, right? And so for me, that wasn't worth it. Now, you having it, you're obviously happy with the benefits it's giving you. And a bit of sore. I did 32 sets of squats, right? No one's doing that, right? And I was stiff, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't just like, it wasn't what it should have been for that ridiculous amount of work that I had put in. I should have been crippled for a month, and I've done not even half of that sort of workout, probably a third of that sort of workout. At the end of a season when my legs are really strong and fit, and I was absolutely crippled for 2 weeks after that. Like it was like absolute torture to go up and down stairs. And that was when I was in college and I lived on the second floor. It was just dreadful to do that. And so I was figuring like, oh my God, I've just done that to myself again. Nothing. It was nothing.
Wow.
1 cup of coffee, I was sore and stiff, but it didn't stop me from doing anything.
Wow.
Right. So, if no one's doing that amount of ridiculous like work, they're not going to get even that sore. So a bit sore having some coffee, probably not that big a deal. To me, it was, you know, and I at least noticed that, look, that's doing something to me. That's causing inflammation. That's doing something. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, I'm saying you have to do this, that, and the other. I just don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want to put things in my body that aren't good for my body. You know, so well, that whole, you know, my body's a temple sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like just putting what's in there, what needs to be in there. To your, you know, going back to your Patreon question, I have absolutely seen anecdotally people improve their back health and the symptoms of nerve compression, which is probably what he's talking about there.
Yep.
He's got a couple of disc bulges. The problem with those disc bulges is that they can squish on your nerves that are sort of releasing out from your spine, and they can cause pain shooting down your legs. Yep. And that can be very painful, very debilitating. And the surgery for that is to go down there and sort of, you know, pick off some of that. It's called a microdiscectomy, or depending on what's going on, but you just take a bit of that disc material away and you free up that nerve. Right. And that's very helpful. You know, you hit your funny bone, it's going to cause problems. Or if you're constantly pushing on your funny bone, right, it's your ulnar nerve, and that's going to be a problem. So that's what's happening in some people's backs, and that's a problem. So that's why you surgically decompress. You can actually surgically decompress that, or carpal tunnel, right? So you decompress that nerve, and then that goes away, and the nerve can just sort of calm down again. So that's the idea with the back as well. But I have absolutely seen people not have to have surgery and improve their symptoms by changing their diet, just going on a keto diet and reducing the amount of garbage that they're eating, reducing all the seed oils, and reducing the sugar and the carbs, especially raising their ketones. Their body heals a bit better. And with carnivore as well. I have also seen people, and again, this is all anecdotal, because like I said, we don't have this in the literature, but it's something that Dr. Fecky made me very interested in, and that might be interesting to try to sort of take disc material out of people that have been symptomatic and send this off and see, you know, if we've seen the same things in the disc material as we were in, you know, knee cartilage and things like that. And then we could really link this to diet, which I think we probably would find. But I've seen anecdotally people that have had these decompressions, you know, taking off bone, taking off disc, and all these sorts of things, and the nerves are free and clear, right? And then it doesn't help their symptoms. They still have this horrible shooting pain. We do an MRI, it's free and clear. There's nothing to do there. Maybe they keep pushing it. Okay, well, let's go in, just look. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. There's nothing more we can do. They still have pain because it's just permanent nerve damage, right? And I have seen those people improve. Yep. You know, I've seen people with, you know, one gentleman, I have a video on, you know, chronic pain and fibromyalgia on my YouTube channel. You look at the comments on that. There are hundreds of comments of people that have had this gentleman's problem or fibromyalgia and all these sorts of things. I've had these problems for 10 years. Nothing could help. I had the surgery. Nothing helped. I was on opiates for the last 12 years. And now, you know, after a few months on a carnivore diet, I've been off opiates for the first time in over a decade. And you've given me my life back. I'm so happy. This is so great. Hundreds of those. Yeah. Right. So the plural of anecdote is data, you know, and you've got 500 points of data there saying this helped me. So I have no study for this gentleman. Unfortunately, there are studies with like knee arthritis and things like that. Unfortunately, we don't have any in for his condition in the spine. However, it's going to help you in 1,000 other ways. For sure. It's going to reduce inflammation for sure. And it could quite possibly help with your symptoms. I can't say for sure. Yeah. But it's worth a shot anyway. Because we need those nutrients, right? Those are the nutrients that we need the most. And so going in that direction, I think is a wonderful thing. And if that's what people want to do, and if we could get everyone doing that, the amount of chronic diseases that we face, it would just really almost go to nothing. And I'm all for that. I think the best way to do it is only eating